They said that in the land of Umropra, a curse once took the form of two innocent children. For seasons, the villagers whispered that the gods had punished their mother, Adis, for conceiving twins, one born blind, the other born deaf. No one dared to touch them when they cried that first night. Even the midwife who delivered them spat twice and crossed herself before fleeing the hut, saying she had seen abomination with her own eyes. But Adis refused to abandon her sons. She named the blind one Obioma, the heart of goodness, and the deaf one Somadina, may not be alone. She raised them on the edge of the village, beside the old kola forest where no one went after dusk. Every morning, she would lead Obioma by hand, and Somadina would follow behind, always watching their mother's lips and eyes for meaning. The villagers often mocked them as they passed. Some children threw pebbles, others laughed and called them the Aruru Allah, the cursed ones. But Adis only tightened her grip on their hands and whispered, "The eyes of men see today, but not tomorrow." Years passed, and the twins grew. Obioma, though blind, had a strange gift. He could feel what others could not. He sensed when rain would fall, when danger lurked near, when hearts carried lies. Somadina, though deaf, had learned to read lips and movements with startling precision. He could tell a man's mood by the twitch of his eyelid or the tilt of his head. They were one half of each other, where one lacked, the other completed. One harmattan evening, when the moon hung red over the palm grove, a cry echoed through Umropra. The village's sacred well, the only source of water that never dried, had turned black like oil. Women who fetched water found it stinking and thick. Chickens began to die. Goats refused to drink. The elders gathered in the square, shaking their curries and muttering to the gods. "The spirits are angry," said Izudo, the oldest elder. "Someone among us has broken the covenant of the land." That night, the Dibia, chief priest, went into trance and came back trembling. "The gods say," he whispered, "that the one who sees without eyes and the one who hears without ears shall cleanse the land." The villagers gasped. They knew exactly who the gods meant. The twins. "But they are cursed," one woman shouted. "They are the reason this land suffers," another added. Yet fear of the gods outweighed hatred of the boys. At dawn, a group of men went to Adis' hut. They dragged the twins to the village square, tying palm fronds around their waists, the mark of a ritual vessel. Adis knelt and wept, begging them to spare her sons. But the Dibia only raised his hand. "If they are pure," he said, "the gods will protect them." They took the boys to the sacred well. The water inside was pitch black and bubbling as though boiling from the belly of the earth. A foul wind rose, carrying the stench of death. The crowd watched in silence as the twins stood before the well, one blind, one deaf, both trembling. Obioma turned his head slightly and whispered to his brother, "Somadina, what do you see?" Somadina, reading his lips, replied softly, "The well is angry. The air around it moves like a living thing." Obioma smiled faintly. "Then listen with your heart, brother. The earth is speaking to me." He stepped forward, touching the ground. Suddenly, he shuddered. His hands began to move as if guided by something unseen. "There is a spirit trapped beneath the well," he murmured. "It cries for release. The elders bound it long ago with deceit." The Dibia frowned. "Blasphemy. The gods would not reveal such to an abomination." But the ground trembled violently, cutting his words short. The well erupted, spraying black water everywhere. The villagers screamed and fled, but the twins stood still. Somadina held his blind brother's arm, reading his lips as Obioma chanted words that were not his own, ancient, rolling like thunder. The air turned heavy. Then, a great silence fell. From the mouth of the well rose a white mist, glowing faintly. Within it was the shape of a woman made of light. Her voice echoed in every direction, "The sins of your fathers have chained me. These two whom you called cursed have set me free." She turned to the twins and said, You shall see and hear what others cannot. From your weakness shall come healing. And with that, she vanished, leaving the well clear and pure once more. The villagers approached slowly, eyes wide. The black water was gone. The air smelled fresh again. A few brave women fetched water, and it was clean, clearer than it had ever been. The people fell to their knees, weeping and begging forgiveness from Adis and her sons. From that day, Obioma became the village seer. Though blind, he foresaw calamities and guided the farmers when to sow and reap. Sumadina became the messenger, reading omens from the faces of strangers and the movements of animals. Together, they saved Umuokpara from drought, disease, and even war. In their old age, the villagers built them a shrine beside the sacred well. And it was said that when night fell and the moon hung red again, the voices of the twins could be heard whispering across the water, one speaking, the other listening, as though the earth itself leaned closer to hear their story. For in Umuokpara, they now say, not every curse is a curse. Sometimes, it is the gods hiding a blessing in plain sight.